Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about the importance of having an emergency fund saved up, okay, for living expenses. So I'm going to tell you why it's really important to have 6 months to a year. Like 6 months is enough, but I like having a year. 6 months to a year of living expenses, okay, if shit hits the fan. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, okay, you lose your job, you're safe. I guarantee you can find another job in 6 months. It might not be the job you want, but you can find something to get you by. You can just find any job while applying for the job you want. Then eventually you'll get that, getting you back to the field that you want to be in. Number two, you want to be an entrepreneur. You wanna attempt starting your own business. Okay, you want to travel the world. You want to do something. You can just quit. That's why having this money is important, because it buys you time, okay? It buys you time. And time is very important, because say you want to start a business, you can't really start it working 50 hours. Like you can, but working 50 hours a week and doing everything else you got to do, it's really hard. Like the time that you'd have to put into that business is very small, okay? Now if you had a 1 year living expenses, or 4 years, even better. Now you can literally quit, and you're like, I've got 4 years to go for it. 4 years. You'll make it, man. I guarantee you'll make it. 1 year even. If you go all out, you'll make it in 1 year. Okay? The other thing that, the boss is giving you a hard time, see you later. You just quit, you chill a bit, you get another job. Things like if your economy goes into a recession, you lose your job, and I don't know, your partner loses her job, or your parents lose their job, at least you got money to get by. So it's very important, because, and this is a very good one. If you got assets, okay, if you got assets like I do, and shit hits the fan, so say you got a couple properties, okay, you got a couple properties. Let's say you lost your job now, okay, you got a couple properties. If they're negatively geared, or maybe a couple of them are negatively geared, or one of them is negatively geared. Like if the rates go up, some of them, because the interest rates are going up so much, they'll be negatively geared. Maybe, depending on what the yield is. If you don't have money saved for that, you need a job ASAP, okay? Because you got to pay the banks, because then you'll default on the loan. Okay, now let's say they're all looking after themselves. Maybe they're all neutral, or a little bit positive cash flow. You lost your job. If the rates go up, man, interest rates go up, you need to start putting money forward. It's not just that, there's maintenance, okay? There's maintenance with real estate properties, okay? PM gives you an email, you need to fix this. Like you don't have to do it straight away. Some things are an emergency that you have to do, other things not really. But my point is, let's say you had no money saved, no safety net buffer, you lost your job, okay? Interest rates are going up like now. Maybe one of the properties is negatively geared anyways, and there's always going to be maintenance. And now you're like, I've got to pay rent, or if you have a mortgage, my mortgage. These investment properties need about 400 a week. It's like, what are you going to do? You got no fucking money. And if you fall in that situation, it's like you got no one to blame but yourself. You got to have that safety net, because you can't really rely on people. Like, what are you going to start asking your parents for money? What if they don't have money? It's hard times. It's a recession. So what would happen in then? Like worst case scenario is you keep defaulting on your payment to the banks, and they just take your house. They just take your house and sell it, and then you fuck. The other thing is you lose your job. Maybe you don't have house. Or like the other thing with assets is, this is what you don't want to fall into, is it's a bad economy, recession, you lose your job, blah blah blah. You need money. You sell your house at a loss. You sell one of your investment properties at a loss. You don't want to do that. You sell your stocks at a loss. You don't want to sell them at a loss. If anything, you want to buy more. If times are hard, and say the property market goes down by a few 100,000, the stock market goes down. If anything, in order for you to get richer, you want to buy more. You get me? So if you lose your job, you got no safety net, no money on the side, and then you're forced, and like you have to pay rent. So let's just say you got some stocks and houses, and the houses are negatively geared. You'd be like, well, I have to sell my stock portfolio at a loss. Let's say you lose 40k, it's at a loss, or 100k, I don't know. And then you sell one of your houses, you're fucked. You know, you're fucked. You're going backwards. Like you were trying to get ahead by getting these investments, and now look, you're actually going backwards. So that's the other thing. So it's very important. Me personally, 1 year living expenses. Me, look, I've got 1 year living expenses. I've got a safety buffer for my investment properties. So I'm very comfortable. If shit was to hit the fan, I'm very comfortable. Like I've got a year to get a job. And even if something happens with my properties, I don't need to use my living expenses money. I've got money set aside for them. You see what I'm saying? It just puts me in a very comfortable position. Like, so if I want to just quit my job and I said, fuck this, I've had enough, and I'm going to backpack for a year, I could, like, I want to, I don't know, save up 20k, travel the world for a year and a half off 20k. Like, you can do it, backpack style, okay, easy. I wouldn't be worried because, one, I've got a safety buffer for my investment properties, so if maintenance comes up, I can pay it. I don't need to have a job. If interest rates go higher, where now the loans are negatively geared, which means I pay more money to the banks, like the rent doesn't offset what I pay to the banks, I've got to pay extra, no problem, you get me? And then I'll kind of monitor it. Let's say I'm traveling, I'll kind of monitor it. I'll be like, okay, now the funds are nearly diminished, I'll go back to work now. Let me pump up this this safety net again with money, then I can travel again. It just gives you options. That's all it is. It just gives you options. And yeah, so and even if you don't have investments, nothing, just it's good to have. You got to pay your rent, you got to buy food, have shelter, and that's it. If you like this video, guys, follow me, and I'll see you in the next video.